I wasn't the kind of person who believed in things that didn't have a clear explanation. I grew up camping, hiking, and spending nights in places where most people wouldn't even stop their car. I knew how forests sounded at night. I knew how animals moved, how wind shifted through trees, how echoes could play tricks on your ears. That's why what happened still bothers me, because I can't fit it into anything I understand. This happened in late October, about 3 years ago. I was living in Colorado at the time, working a regular job that didn't leave much room to breathe. My friend Tyler had the same problem, so we made it a habit to get out of the city whenever we could. That weekend, we decided to camp somewhere more remote than usual. No established campground, no marked trails, just a forest area Tyler had found on some forum where people shared lesser-known spots. It took us almost 5 hours to get there. The last hour was just a dirt road that got worse the deeper we went. There were no signs, no other cars, nothing that suggested people came out here often. That was the point. We parked near a narrow clearing just before the road became too rough to continue. From there, we carried our gear about half a mile into the woods until we found a decent spot to set up. It was flat enough, surrounded by tall trees, and far from the road, so we wouldn't hear anything but nature. Everything felt normal at first. We set up the tent, started a small fire, and spent a couple of hours just talking, eating, and relaxing. It got dark fast, the way it does in dense forest. By around 8 p.m., the only light we had was from the fire and our headlamps. The first thing that felt off was the silence. Forests at night aren't actually quiet. There are always insects, distant animal calls, movement in the underbrush. But at some point, maybe around 9 or so, it all just stopped. Not gradually. It was like someone had flipped a switch. Tyler noticed it too. He stopped mid-sentence and just looked around. "You hear that?" he asked. I nodded. "Yeah, nothing." We both laughed it off at first. It wasn't the first time we'd noticed sudden quiet in the woods. Sometimes animals go still if there's a predator nearby. It made sense. Still, it lasted longer than usual. Way longer. We added more wood to the fire, trying to keep things feeling normal. That's when we heard it for the first time. It was faint, distant, but clear enough that we both reacted at the same time. Children laughing. Not loud, not close, but definitely there. Tyler frowned immediately. What the hell? I didn't answer right away. I was trying to figure out direction. It sounded like it was coming from deeper in the forest, maybe a few hundred yards out. Probably another campsite. I said, maybe a family or something. But even as I said it, it didn't sit right. We hadn't seen a single car for miles. No lights, no signs of people. And who brings kids this deep into unmarked forest land this late at night? The laughter came again. A little louder this time, like it was drifting closer. It didn't sound like normal laughter either. I know that sounds vague, but it's the only way I can put it. It was off in a way I couldn't explain. Too steady. Almost like it didn't break naturally the way people laugh. Tyler stood up and turned off his headlamp for a second. Like that would help him hear better. "You think they're lost?" "Maybe," I said, though I didn't believe it. We waited. The sound faded again, like it was moving away. After a minute or two, the normal forest noise started to come back slowly. Insects, rustling leaves, distant wind. We tried to shake it off. It wasn't impossible that there were other people out there. Remote didn't mean empty. Still, neither of us felt as relaxed after that. Around 10:30, we decided to turn in. We put out the fire, zipped up the tent, and settled into our sleeping bags. I remember thinking I'd probably sleep fine once I got used to the quiet again. I didn't. I don't know how long I'd been lying there when I heard it again. This time it was closer. The same laughter. I opened my eyes immediately. Tyler shifted next to me. "You hear that?" he whispered. "Yeah," It sounded like it was just beyond the trees, surrounding our campsite now. Not right on top of us, but close enough that it didn't feel distant anymore. I sat up slowly and unzipped the tent just enough to look out. It was completely dark. No lights, no movement, just trees. The laughter stopped. For a few seconds, everything was still. Then it started again, from a different direction. That's when I felt it. Not fear exactly, not at first. More like something wasn't lining up. The way the sound moved didn't make sense. It wasn't traveling naturally. It was just shifting. Tyler sat up too. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, we didn't go outside. I don't know why, but neither of us suggested it. It didn't feel like something we should go toward. The laughter continued for a few minutes, stopping and starting from different directions. Always just out of sight. Always just far enough that you couldn't pinpoint anything. Eventually, it stopped again. This time, the silence that followed felt heavier than before. I lay back down, but I didn't close my eyes. I just listened. I don't know how long passed before I heard something else. Footsteps. Soft, slow, deliberate. Right outside the tent. Tyler grabbed my arm immediately. I could feel how tense he was. You hear that? He whispered. I nodded, even though he couldn't see it. The footsteps circled us once. Just one slow loop around the tent. Then they stopped. We both held our breath. I expected something next. A voice, more laughter, anything. Instead, there was nothing. After maybe a minute, the footsteps started again, moving away this time, back into the forest. Neither of us slept after that. We stayed in the tent until morning, barely speaking, just listening. The forest eventually returned to normal, but neither of us felt okay about what we'd heard. When the sun came up, everything looked completely ordinary. That almost made it worse. We stepped out of the tent and checked the ground around us. There were no footprints. Not ours, not anyone else's. Just undisturbed dirt and fallen leaves. Tyler tried to joke about it, saying maybe we imagined it, but he didn't sound convinced, and neither was I. We packed up faster than usual. Neither of us said it directly, but we both wanted to leave. As we were heading back toward the car, I remember stopping for a second. I thought I heard something again. Faint, distant, children laughing. I didn't tell Tyler. Not then. We got in the car and drove out of there without looking back. I wish that had been the end of it. It wasn't. The drive back should have helped, but it didn't. Normally, after a trip like that, the moment we hit a paved road, everything would start to feel normal again. You get cell signal, you see other cars, and your brain settles back into something familiar. That didn't happen this time. Tyler kept glancing in the rearview mirror more than usual. I noticed it after about 20 minutes. You good? I asked. Yeah, he said, but he didn't sound like it. Just feels like, I don't know, like we left something unfinished. I didn't respond right away because that was exactly how it felt to me too, and I didn't want to say it out loud. Saying things like that tends to make them feel more real. We drove in silence for a while. Then, about halfway back, Tyler's phone buzzed. He picked it up, checked the screen, and frowned. No service, he said. That's normal out here. Yeah, but I got a notification. He turned the phone toward me. It was a voicemail notification. No number attached. Just unknown. What time did it come in? I asked. He checked. Last night, around 2:13 a.m. We both went quiet again. Play it, I said after a second. He hesitated, then tapped it. At first, there was just static, the kind you get from a bad connection. Then, underneath it, something else started to come through. Laughter. Children laughing. It was clearer than what we'd heard in the forest. Closer. More defined. And then, about 5 seconds in, it stopped. There was a pause. After that, a voice. It was a kid's voice. Soft. Almost like a whisper. but it came through clearly enough. You didn't stay. The voicemail ended. Tyler didn't say anything for a long time. He just stared at his phone like it might change if he looked at it long enough. "That's not possible," he finally said. "No," I agreed, because there wasn't anything else to say. We didn't listen to it again during the drive. Neither of us wanted to. When we got back to town, everything felt off in a different way. Too normal. Like we had just imagined everything and were trying to force it into something real. We went back to our separate places, and for a few hours, I managed to convince myself that there had to be an explanation. Some weird overlap of sounds. Maybe another group out there we never saw. The voicemail could have been a glitch, some random recording that got misrouted. That explanation didn't last long. That night, I was lying in bed, trying to sleep, when I heard something from outside my apartment. At first, I thought it was just people on the street. I lived on the second floor, and sound carried easily at night. Then I realized what I was hearing. Laughter. The same kind. I sat up immediately and went to the window. The street below was empty. No people, no movement. Nothing that could have made that sound. It stopped as soon as I looked out. I stayed there for a minute, staring down, waiting for something else to happen. Nothing did. I closed the window and went back to bed, but I didn't sleep much. Every small sound felt amplified. Every time I started to drift off, I thought I heard it again, just at the edge of hearing. The next morning, I called Tyler. He picked up right away, like he had been expecting it. "Did you hear it?" he asked before I could say anything. "Yeah, same." That's when I realized this wasn't just something in my head. We met up later that day to talk it through. Sitting in a normal place, in daylight, made it easier to think clearly, at least for a while. We went over everything again. The silence in the forest, the laughter, the footsteps, the voicemail. Tyler mentioned something I hadn't thought about yet. The footprints, he said. There should have been something. Even if it was just an animal, something moving around us like that should have left a mark. He was right. We started looking into the area we had camped in. Not obsessively. Just enough to see if there was anything unusual tied to it. At first, nothing came up. Just general information about the forest, some hiking forums, a few scattered posts about people camping out there. Then Tyler found something. It wasn't recent. It was an old local news article from years back, early 2000s. A small group of kids had gone missing in that same general area. I think it was 3 of them. They had been playing near the edge of the forest and just disappeared. Search teams looked for weeks. They found nothing. No bodies, no clothing, no clear trail. It was like they had walked into the trees and never come back out. There were a few theories at the time. Animals getting lost, something criminal. None of them led anywhere. The case eventually went cold. We didn't say much after reading that. It didn't prove anything. It didn't explain anything either. But it added something to what we had experienced, and neither of us liked where that led. Over the next few weeks, things slowly settled down. The laughter stopped. No more strange sounds. No more calls or messages. Life went back to normal on the surface, but something changed in the way I thought about it. At first, I kept trying to find a logical explanation, something that fit within the rules I understood. I stopped doing that after a while, not because I found an answer, but because nothing I came up with made sense of all of it. There was always something that didn't fit. The voicemail still bothers me the most. I still have it saved. I've listened to it a few times since then, usually when I convince myself it wasn't as clear as I remember. It always is. The laughter, the pause, the voice. You didn't stay. I've thought a lot about what that meant. At first, I took it as a simple statement. We left, so whatever was noticed at. Later, I started to wonder if it was something else. Something like disappointment, or maybe expectation. That part is what stays with me, because if it noticed that we left, then it was paying attention. And if it was paying attention, then it knew we were there. Tyler and I haven't gone back to that area. We still camp, but never that deep, never that remote. Sometimes, when things are quiet, I think about what would have happened if we had stepped out of the tent that night. If we had followed the sound into the trees, instead of staying where we were. I don't think we would have found lost kids. I don't think we would have found anything we could explain. The worst part is, I don't think whatever made that sound wanted to scare us away. It felt more like it wanted us to come closer. And when we didn't, it followed us just far enough to let us know we had made a choice.